Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Rancho Cordova City Council of October the 16th, 2023. We'll ask our city clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Terry is absent. Councilmember Gatewood.
Here.
Councilmember Pulapati.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sander is absent. Mayor Budge.
Here, thank you. Stacy, would you read the announcements and legal information, please?
The meeting of the Rancho Cordova City Council will be cablecast on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. The meeting is closed captioned and webcast at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay on Thursday, October 19th at 9 a.m. and Sunday, October 22nd at 9 a.m. The meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/MetroCable14. A DVD copy can also be ordered from the City Clerk's Department, and a webcast of this meeting will be available on the city's website within 48 hours of adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you, Stacy. So we're going to invite everyone to rise and remove their hats and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by our Police Chief, Brandon Luke. And then stay standing for an invocation by Ruby Smallwood from the Sacramento Law Enforcement Chaplaincy. Chief.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Please pray with me. Gracious Father, may this evening work have the blessing of your touch. Anoint the plans so even the smallest of tasks set before us brings you honor. May all the work and service we do and the way we do it bless you and those we serve. Bless this council and the community they serve with wisdom, discernment, commitment, courage, and strength. Continue to cover them with your peace, love, and guidance. May all things be rooted in the unbiased love and attention. May your influence be in our lives, this council, and our beloved community. Amen.
Thank you so much. And a sincere wish for a little of that around the world tonight. So we also have presentations and we have new employees to introduce. So first of all, we're going to invite Matt Thomas, Facilities Manager, to come up and introduce his people.
Good evening. I'd like to proudly introduce the newest member of the facilities team. This is Facilities Maintenance Technician Cesar Lamas.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Like Matt said, my name is Cesar Lamas. I'm the new Facilities Maintenance Technician 1. I bring with myself 8 years of experience in maintenance to help the facilities team. And I'm very happy and excited to be part of the city of Rancho, and I hope to be here permanently one day and move here and be a resident. So, thank you.
We like that. Thank you. Welcome. And Micah.
So good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I am happy to introduce David Kwong as our new Assistant City Manager. David comes with a plethora of experience in local government and development across many different organizations and here in this region. And so I have had the pleasure of working with David in the past. And so I'm very happy to have him and join our team and really proud of what we can move forward and accomplish together. So with that.
David.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. David Kwong again, and I'm probably dating myself a little bit here, but I've been in the region in the planning and development field for a little bit over 33 years. And at every place I've been at, it's all about serving the public. So first, I'm very pleased and honored that Micah selected me. And I'm also very pleased and honored to be working for the city of Rancho Cordova and helping a really remarkable team moving forward in terms of economic prosperity and continuing to grow the city. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Welcome. I join Micah in having worked with you for several years, and we're really pleased to have you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. David, we're really excited about having you. James, we got a planner. So just so you're planner as assistant city manager now. So now you can actually talk to one that actually does that professionally, who's now in the group. So we're totally, we saved you out of Stockton, right? We rescued you from there. You got rid of your gold chain and tired of the water. Sorry, that's inappropriate. I apologize.
Thank you, Garrett. So we're going to move into public comment. This is your opportunity to address the council on items not on the agenda. But please remember that we cannot take action on items that are not on the agenda. We will be happy to put you in touch with staff who can help, or to schedule something on a future agenda item if necessary. You have 3 minutes, and Stacy has some information about how to dial in if you want to do that.
Yes, citizens wishing to address the council for any matter not on the agenda may do so this evening via teleconference or by telephone or by submitting a speaker card here in the council chambers. If you'd like to make a public comment via teleconference, please use the raise hand feature located on the screen. If you are participating by telephone and you would like to make a public comment, please press the *9 to raise your hand. For those who are participating virtually, please wait upon me to acknowledge you, and then we'll go ahead and allow you up to 3 minutes to speak. And we will start with those individuals who are in the council chambers. Starting with Kathy Birch. Following Kathy will be Sangeeta, Carl Samuelson, Daryl Langwell, Helen Wellen-Bashaw, and James Garcia.
Welcome, Kathy.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me share my thoughts. I'm Kathy Birch. I live in Tiffany West, next to the former Cassis property. My comments today are because I'm concerned about a conflict of interest of one of the council members. On December 22nd, 2020, I wrote a letter to member Donald Terry with copies to the Rancho Cordova Council and City Clerk. I asked Mr. Terry to stop making sarcastic and condescending comments as he did during the American River Conservancy meeting. He interrupted the meeting and commented about a PSA, public service announcement video, calling it political. The PSA showcased the historical and significant wildlife which would be negatively impacted if the lower floodplain were developed by TrueMark. I reminded Mr. Terry that we are his constituents, and as a city council member, he should be an advocate, not an adversary. On several occasions since then, Donald Terry has made comments regarding our community efforts. He has said to several individuals, if they kill that build, he would put low-income housing there. Fast forward to last December, and surprise, TrueMark formally withdrew their application from Rancho Cordova and submitted it to the state of California on June 7th. They added approximately 240 additional units using SB 330 low-income housing as rationale and some affordable apartments as well. This was 2 days after the Bank of the Sierra announced that Donald Terry was named their Community Reinvestment CRA officer on June 5th. One of the main purposes of the Community Reinvestment Act is to ensure that banks make certain amounts of loans and mortgages to low and moderate income people. In 2022, a joint proposal was made to strengthen and modernize CRA with increased lending in low and moderate income communities. Maybe this explains why Donald Terry is so enthusiastic about the building of low-income units in Rancho Cordova. The more low-income units that exist, the easier it is for his bank to make their quota. During the September council meeting last month, Donald Terry brought up again the PSA video regarding Cassis property and made unprofessional remarks about our website and fundraising efforts. Due process requires that council members be impartial. Councilmember Dave Sander is required to recuse himself because he lives near the proposed development. It's only reasonable and comparable that based on Councilman Terry's comments and employment position related to low income and potential loans from those properties, that he recuse himself. I respectfully request that council recuse Donald Terry from any decision-making in relation to the pending TrueMark proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Sangeeta? Welcome, Sangeeta.
Esteemed Mayor Linda Budge and the City Council members, I'm Sangeeta Shankar and represent the Hindu American Foundation, the oldest and largest advocacy American organization for the rights and representation of Hindu Americans. On behalf of the Hindu American Foundation and the Hindu community of Rancho, Cordova, I would like to thank and commend Mayor Linda Budge and the council members, especially Siri Pulipathy, for recognizing October as Hindu Awareness and Appreciation Month. The Hindu community is proud to serve as productive members of Rancho Cordova. However, in parts of the world, there is a rising presence of Hinduphobia that deliberately misinterprets Hinduism. Overall, there is simply a lack of education about our worldwide living faith of more than 1 billion people. Your recognition of October as Hindu American Awareness and Appreciation Month is an important milestone of the self-esteem of the many Hindu citizens of Rancho Cordova. I have several members of the Hindu American community right here in Rancho Cordova, and they represent organizations like HSS, Seva, Swadhyay, Chinmaya Mission, BAPS, and the Federation of Gujarati Associations of USA. They, along with many others in the community, are contributing to making Rancho Cordova a vibrant city with activities and opportunities in arts and culture, science, technology, spirituality, community giving, or Seva. A very noteworthy contribution is that of Seva International, which contributed more than 400 plus pounds of food to Rancho Cordova Food Locker during their annual Diwali drive. Today's Hindu American Awareness and Appreciation Month is a token of appreciation for all that our Hindu American communities have done for this beautiful city, inclusive city of Rancho Cordova. We gratefully accept your appreciation. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Carl? Or
That's correct.
Carl? Welcome, Carl.
Thank you. Thank you. Which one's the hottest?
They're both hot.
They're both pretty hot. So I want to thank Garrett and Siri and Linda for being here tonight, and I'm sad that Donald and David aren't. But I'll try to be quick. So I'm a resident of Tiffany West, and of course I'm going to talk about that famed Casas property. And so I've lived in Rancho for, 8 years now. It was supposed to be the 5-year plan, and it's turned out to be a really good plan. The community's been great. I love the river. The whole reason I moved to this area back in the 80s was because of the American River and the resources we have. And so, my biggest point is that I'm really sad that we even got to the point where this development is even proposed on our riverfront. It's so important to us as individuals and to the environment we live in, and I can't believe that even got here. So that's the biggest point. I could walk away from that. But Kathy made a couple comments about the video. And so I'm the guy that did the video. There's a bunch more videos on my YouTube page. The first video, it's got several thousand views. I don't know how many at this point. It's not my biggest one. My biggest run is the Amaharo gorilla family in Rwanda. That's got a lot of views. But there's more out there. You guys go check them out. My whole point was just to come out and just plead that the city do everything they can to try to slow this process down, to take it out of this current plan it is in SB 330. There are a ton of things in this project that are not consistent, compliant, and complete with the city's plans and policies that have been in place since we've existed. So that's all I came here to plead, was that you all try to take a close look at this and tell TrueMark that it's not consistent. It's not consistent with the Folsom Boulevard Pacific Plan. It doesn't connect our communities together the way it's supposed to. It's not consistent with the American River Parkway plans. It doesn't provide for protecting trees like we're supposed. It's inconsistent on many fronts. And so with that, I just want to say, please do what you can to delay the process. Put it back to the next step. We are not opposed to building on Folsom Boulevard. We should have already filled that property in. Should have already been filled in. I should have a copy shop down the street from where I live. So with that, thank you. And next time I come, hopefully Donald and David will be here and we can give the message to everybody.
Thank you, Carl.
Daryl first. Daryl first.
Welcome, Daryl.
And then Helen.
Good evening, Mayor Budge, council members, Darrell Langwell from the Vineyards neighborhood. It's been several months since we started the new recycling program where we started recycling our food scraps and with our green waste. I haven't heard any kind of a report about how successful we've been. It would be nice to have somebody come in and tell us how much good we've done by doing this. So if that could be arranged, I'd sure be interested in hearing it. Thank you.
Good idea, Daryl. Thank you, because I think it's been a year. So that's a good idea. Welcome, Helen.
Hi, I'm Helen Wilma Bashaw, and I'm from the Tiffany area. I commend Kathy for her efforts and everything she's put forward. Kathy and I started, if you remember, Linda, back in 2018, when the Pappas organization out of Illinois came and made their proposal. At that time, it was talked to by Adam that we have more than enough low-income housing. It was brought up at that time that when I moved in 1983 into that neighborhood, I was in a good school district. Fast forward, 40 years? And I'm now in a bad school district, not as high as rated before. I have many of my neighbors that move in with children. Once they get to that need to go to school, they move out of the area. So we're not having stability in our little pocket area. I am concerned with comments that Donald Terry has made. One thing I'm going to reiterate that I've talked to Cyrus and Donald out in the entranceway when they told me it's a he said, she said comment. I reminded them that all these meetings are recorded on Zoom. So in a lot of cases, it'll be you against yourself. We track everything everybody says up on the council, and we put you in little groups. So there's been some conflicts. I also want to say that I find Donald Terry to be very unprofessional. The way he verbally attacks a person after they make a comment that doesn't meet up to his standards. Donald makes some comments, we can't come back after him. If he was here this week, I would remind him the comment he made to me afterwards about working with a lot of women. The comment I made referred to entry-level positions. Entry-level, and Donald is in a position that has to have skills, knowledge, and abilities to be functioning at the level he is. Kathy hit on a really important thing. Donald needs to recuse himself from anything dealing with the Cassis property. He has openly said over the last few years how he supports the build. Therefore, the city needs to do due diligence and remove him. I do expect the attorney representing the city not to do what happened with the Elliott process over in Stone Creek. Elliott's contract with the city ended in 2018, yet we bought the land back 5 years afterwards because he, as far as I'm concerned, needed funding for his new development coming in, but he also had bad taste that he felt that we weren't, he wasn't going to be able to make money off of that land, so we bought it back. And I questioned at the time, I said that it was a day late and a dollar short, buyer's remorse, 5 years after the contract ended.
Please wrap up
Therefore,
your
we
comments.
should not have paid him off.
Thank you, Helen. Who's next?
James
Must
Garcia.
be James. Welcome, James.
Following James will be Cheryl Pitts.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Oh,
James.
great, okay. I'm James Garcia, resident of Stone Creek. Just want to have some fun with this. Thanks, Garrett. Yeah, I'll go ahead and be nice, possibly on our assistant city manager. said possibly, since he is a former planner. So great to have that. And with that in mind, looks like the notification went out in the B and is on the city's website for the ordinance that's going to help modify some prohibited uses at this point in the Z-Spa area. Just want to make sure that that ordinance that is being brought forth has all the proper language in it. I mentioned it at the Planning Commission meeting that there's several sentences that, in my opinion, are missing from it because it talks about permitted. The effect of this use is effectively prohibiting that particular use. I have the exact language. I'll also be submitting it to all of you so you can keep track of it as well. But it ultimately says the effect of this change is to prohibit wholesaling and warehousing, logistics, and e-commerce uses. That is missing where they had the exact same language if it was a recycling center. So I just want to make sure that our ordinances are up to the legal snuff so that way, one, we don't have challenge on it. So that's one point wanted to make. Also, I fully agree with what Kathy and all the others have mentioned about Donald Terry's use of his position now. He should recuse himself for that, as the same thing I mentioned with other cases where I feel that other people should have been recused themselves. But on a happier note, I definitely am happy that 4 of you attended the school district meeting to kind of help fight for us as a city, to get our representation and get our fair funding from the school district, because it is a joint effort. We are unfortunately served by 4 different school districts here in the city, which makes it a tough job and a tough sell. That's why a lot of our residents are traveling up to Folsom to get the funding. They have the federal funding because if they're attending those schools, they are getting the federal funds for that school. They're getting the opportunity to have a better facility. There's more attendance because, again, we helped build them. So I appreciate well, there were 4 of you that were there. So just wanted to kind of say thanks on that. So, because I too support that effort. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Cheryl? Welcome, Cheryl.
My name is Cheryl Pitts. Thank you. I'm here for an MOU that I live in the Mobile Country Club adult park, and they sent out a MOU for a pass-through and capital improvements, and it's not quite understandable for me, and I know a couple of other people the same thing, and I've just been hearing from other people. And,
Go back and say what the source of it was.
It's an MOU of understanding for mobile home parks in Rancho Cordova, and apparently there's 8 of us. There's 8 mobile home parks. Last year, our park, there was a group from our park that came to the council and was trying to get a rent stabilization. And instead of having it go up $50 a month, I moved in there specifically because I was looking to retire, and so it was affordable. At this rate, it started going up $50 a month. So I didn't know about the rent stabilization crew from last year. I just was trying to get understanding of this year. We just got it about 30 days ago. They say we have 90 days to, I guess, either agree or not agree. Is there a voting process? Do the residents get to say anything about this?
Did you, on your card, did you put your contact information?
I did.
Then the city manager will have somebody call you and help you figure this out.
I know there's been several people that have called and spoke to someone by the name of Stefan.
Right.
And we kind of wanted to see if he could come and talk to a group of us to help explain it. You've got elderly people, and we were told that everybody in the park who lives in a mobile home park there, gets to vote. Then we're read that only 1 person per household gets to vote. So it's just all confusing.
Yeah, we'll coordinate. We'll have him
We
coordinate and
understand.
get him out there.
Our city manager's office will be in touch.
We can coordinate something. We have your contact.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor Budge, that's all the speaker cards that I have. I'm looking to Zoom, and I do not see any hands that are raised at this time. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and read the emailed public comments by name that we have received. Individuals who have submitted their public comment via email, their public comments have been posted on the city's website. They've been printed and are in a binder in the back of the council chambers, and they have been distributed to the city council. First person is Brenda Gustin, Shankar Ranishwaran, Karina Cassie, Sean Mallory, Steve Schweigert, Mary Wing, Shelley and Stephen Perry, Nicolette Negos Lorido, Adam Papini, Judith Poxon, Jen Dunning, Paul Georgian, Jonathan Bishop, Daniel Aguilar, James Fleming, Andrew Schneider, Anthony Cacchetti, Angel Ball, and Brenda Gustin. And I still do not see any hands raised in Zoom or by phone.
Thank you, Stacy. Then we're going to move into council reports, and I think this is the first time in a couple of meetings that we've actually been able to do this. So lacking Donald and David, we'll start with Garrett.
All right. First, thank you to all the citizens that showed up. It is critical, thank you, James, that people show up for the school district meeting. So if you guys don't know this, and this is talking to everyone, the Folsom Cordova School District is trying to decide whether they're going to put the new high school into Rancho Cordova or into Folsom, even though we're a cheaper, more affordable, better located location. The name is what's making them pull it out and put it into a piece of lot that really doesn't fit what they actually need. It should be in the city of Rancho Cordova. We have one high school. We could use the second high school, and we're not getting that. The more citizens that show up, this is our chance to actually have the high school. If not, it's 2052 if we even get the money to actually do it. The truth of the matter, if we don't get this high school, we will not have a high school built in Folsom Cordova. And at that point, there's actually no reason for us to stay part of the Folsom Cordova School District at all. It's silly at that point. Folsom can, and it's a $700 million bond. And if we don't get access to this and put the high school in Rancho will literally get zero of the $700 million bond that was on all our citizens. All the money will go to Folsom to build Folsom schools. We have been, and it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But I need to get this out. So if you know citizens, when we have the next school board meeting, we will be pushing that out to them. And write Micah so we can put you on a list. We need to get more people to show up there because this next time will be critical that we all show up and be like, look, it's literally a 5-minute drive for people from Folsom to the new high school. Whereas Rancho Cordova citizens that have to go to Folsom have a 30 to 35-minute drive. And they're saying that they can't, that it's too much for them. And we all say, well, what about us that have been driving the 35 minutes for the last, 30 plus years? So luckily, thank you, Linda. Thank you, David. Thank you, Siri, who showed up and testified, because all of us showed up and just one member of the Folsom Cordova who said we should really let them have the school. Basically, that's basically what she said. And their school district doesn't want to let us have the new high school. So everyone needs to show up. We need to give them what it means to be Rancho. We are a bootstrap city. We pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps and we get stuff done. So this is one of those things, one of those times the Rancho needs to show up and get the new high school. We're not saying we want equal. We just want our fair share of that bond. And that means the new high school lands in Rancho Cordova. Okay, number 2, most heart-wrenching thing, I went into the well space. That's where they graduate nurses and people in the medical field. And we, as a group, thank you to all my citizens. You do a Measure H, Measure R grant, and we granted money for citizens in Rancho Cordova to go and get educated and get jobs there. So I got to go to the graduation. These actually were 2, I believe they're immigrants from Afghanistan. I'm not 100% certain, but they came up to me. They're teary-eyed that our city helped these people to get jobs, and now they're fully working. We couldn't even find enough people at Rancho Cordova to go up there and get trained, but these 2 made it all the way through. Most blessed thing I can think. It was great to see that. ALF Leadership Forum, which American Leadership Forum, a bunch of us get together, and this is where we make contacts with other cities and have amazing stuff happen. Urban League Gala. The Urban League is probably one of the most influential kind of nonprofits in our region. What they do is they do work with a lot of African American minority groups and disadvantaged groups to help get them jobs. That's literally their first thing. I remember when it first got started, if you've ever been to their building, it looks like a hodgepodge of craziness, and I can't believe Linda hasn't helped fix that thing because there's a middle part. Have you been to the Urban League building in?
On Del Paso?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't understand, like, at all what happened there. Just, it's like
I
parts,
think it was
pieces.
somebody's art piece.
Yeah, it's parts and pieces in a building, and then anyways, but believe in their mission. Rancho Cordova steps up. We'd love to help out the disadvantaged youth and minority, and we'd love to integrate more with them and get them in the city. Most coolest thing I got to do was I got to meet with some professional sports people about coming to Rancho Cordova. So more to talk about that. Now that we have a planner, he can tell me what makes the most amount of sense. Very excited about. There's so much potential in Rancho Cordova right now. There's so many big businesses and different clubs and different sports that could possibly land themselves in Rancho Cordova to give us a Rancho Cordova nightlife. I just want to make the right decision and find someone that really, really wants to come and be part of our city, because we're a great community. And I told this individual, and I'm going to keep it very level, that if you come here, Rancho Cordova will show up and make you part of the home. And once you're here as much. We love, if someone's willing to take their own money and time and build in our city and then partner with us to put professional sports in Rancho Cordova, so at 6 o'clock we have somewhere to go, that would be amazing. And lastly, I'm just going to say this right because Siri's next to me. Jai Talagana. Nailed it. Nailed it. There we go. Telangana Association, their big festival, which Siri, I, and Anil helped to start, is coming to Rancho Cordova Flower Festival. It's this Saturday at Bear Hollow. It's always, I don't know, like 2,000 to 3,000. We're hoping to have twice as many people there this year. It goes from 5 to whenever literally they stop walking in a circle. So that could be midnight, 3 a.m., 5 a.m. For God's sakes, people go home. But I'm very excited about it. It just shows how diverse our city is, and everyone's welcome. The food there is awesome, and it truly, just so you guys know, because we have such a diverse grouping of people, it makes sports leagues excited to come to Rancho, because we're not one of those ones that just wants the typical. We'll take all types of sports to come in. So there's professional leagues that I'm not allowed to mention because I feel my city manager growling at me right now. But they want to come to this city because we have such large populations of unique individuals. So very excited, and hope, once again, another Jai Talagana. We'll see you there. See?
So with that, it's probably important that we take a step back and figure out that Garrett is so hyped up because he's getting ready to have a birthday on the 23rd of October, and we were supposed to celebrate that, but we don't have our happy birthday singers with us tonight, so unless somebody in the audience is motivated to sing happy birthday to Garrett, we're just going to applaud.
What? No happy birthday? Hey, to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Garrett.
Oh, that was good.
Happy birthday to you.
23 years young. Killing it.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he and Donald have this contest about who's younger.
Tell he's a lot older. Let's be honest, all the hair. Remember that.
Siri.
So I'll follow up on the comments from Councilmember Garrett that 80% of us attended the Folsom School Board to advocate for a new school. We've had one new school in Rancho Cordova in the last 60 years, and the population of Rancho Cordova is growing, and we have so many new residents that are going to come to this area and the housing that's along Folsom Boulevard. And the first thing every new resident is going to ask is, when's the next new middle school, high school? And so we were there advocating, pushing, and promoting the need for a new high school, middle school here in the city of Rancho Cordova. And I would strongly, highly recommend that most of you please do attend the next school board meetings when this is on the agenda to show your support for this cause. This is on the Folsom Cordova school side. On the other side, we have the Elk Grove school, where the students have to travel nearly 45 minutes each way up and down, starting at 6 a.m., coming back maybe at 4 or 5 p.m. in the evening. Long hours for kids as young as 11 years old. So myself and city manager met with the Sacramento County Superintendent of Schools, David Gordon, to also advocate for the need for a high school in south of Sunrise. And so please notice we're actually asking for a school south of Sunrise, and we're asking for a high school for the students that are for the new developments, because we need both of these schools to maintain our equality for the students and for their higher education. And we're trying to promote that cause in all ways that we can. The other thing, this is the Hindu month of celebration, so there have been a lot of activities that are happening in the city. I attended the Hindu American Foundation event last weekend, where I attended the cause for Mr. Ramesh Jaipal. He talked about the state of affairs for the women, Hindu women in Pakistan. I attended the Jain Center's grand opening. We have a new Jain temple here in the city of Rancho Cordova. I attended the ChatGPT workshop here in the City Hall, which was for middle and high schoolers to talk about ChatGPT. If there's anybody in this room that does not know what ChatGPT is, please come talk to me. Yes, ma'am, please come talk to me. It'll answer most of your questions. This is the new AI, and it'll change your life. If there's any question that you want, it's your Ask Jeeves, whatever it was in the 1980s. I also attended the MAC at Cordova High, talked to the high schoolers about my journey to be a council member and also all the school activities that our city promotes and supports. And last but not least, I handed out trophies for a volleyball tournament that happened at one of the centers here. I forget the name. What was it, Micah? I told you, Omen?
Is that the basketball town?
Yeah. Anyway, so I handed out trophies for a basketball tournament that was also last weekend.
Omni Volleyball.
Omni Volleyball, there you go.
Omni volleyball.
Yes, and that's my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Siri. So Siri and Garrett are absolutely correct. When Navigator opened, that was actually the first school that had been built in Rancho Cordova in 35 years, and that's been 18 years now. That's how long it takes us to get anything done, which is really inexcusable. We had a good meeting with the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, our ad hoc 2x2 committee. I served once more as the MC for the Moose Lodge rib cook-off, which is always fun, and it's one of those things where you get rewarded at the end because you get to eat. The police department was gracious enough to invite me to come to their Citizens Academy graduation. All these wonderful people who have been going to school for 10 months, they have done the most interesting things. That's really told them all about what goes on in the police department, all aspects of law enforcement here in Rancho Cordova. And they're signing up people for their next class that I believe begins in the spring. And they are looking for recruits for that. Chief Luke and I attended the Criminal Justice Committee, which generally focuses on what's going on in the court system, the public defender, the district attorney, and is always interesting. This is a very busy week. We're looking at hosting the internal study mission. which is instead of going to Washington DC or to another city to do a study mission, this one is organized by the Asian Pacific Chamber, and it studies things here locally. And their focus of this year is to envision what this region could look like if we really put on our thinking caps and think, we put on our caps in order to think outside the box. Homecoming, the 60th homecoming of Cordova High is Friday night, and there will be a lot of us there to celebrate. The Chamber of Commerce is celebrating its 60th birthday, and I see Diana in the room, and she's probably here to talk about that. And I would like to ask us to adjourn tonight in memory of two wonderful Rancho Cordova residents. One was a longtime resident and veteran in the Air Force, and Herb Powell, who passed away recently and was a Moose member, and so on Sunday afternoon they did a memorial service for him at the Moose Lodge. And then a lovely lady named Sarah Ann Adams, actually it's Sarah Hershey Adams. She was a 1969 graduate of Cordova, lived here in this area for a long time, and still has family in the area, but she is the daughter of Charlie and Shirley Hershey, and that's important because Charlie was the maintenance superintendent at the Cordova Park District from the time of its inception till his retirement in 1988. Kind of like Paul Hagen, he was the only person in charge of the maintenance side of the Park District until that date, as Paul was in charge of the administrative and recreation side of the Park District. So I would ask that we adjourn in their memory. And with that, I will turn it over to the city manager for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things for me. Wanted to remind the council and the community that we do have an open planning commissioner application that's open right now. And really with the direction and interest in that position having some construction and development and architectural or real estate background is something that the council and the community is very interested in. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about applying and applicants for the Planning Commission opening that is currently out and being recruited for. Second, I want to just highlight we are having the Heart Stoppers that has continued in the community. So if you have not gone yet, the Cordova Community Council is in full Heart Stoppers swing over at the Mineshaft property and looking for participants to come and I guess be scared.
Their pants scared off.
I really appreciate the work that they do, and this is their #1 fundraiser that they do for the Cordova Community Council is this event. So with that, those are my couple updates.
Thank you, Micah. So we'll move into consent calendar items. Consent calendar items are deemed routine in nature and can be approved by one vote unless somebody wants to pull an item off of the consent calendar. Tonight we have only 3 items. Do we have any public comment on any of the 3 items, Stacy?
We do not, and I'm looking for hands that are raised, and I do not see any hands raised in Zoom.
Okay. Colleagues, does anybody need to discuss one of the items? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you so much. Stacy, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Terry is absent. Councilmember Gatewood?
Yep.
Councilmember Pulapati?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sander is absent. Mayor Budge?
Yes, thank you. Motion carries. So we'll move into consent public hearing items, which are similar to the consent calendar, except that it is a public hearing. So we're going to open the public hearing. Stacy, would you read the title of the consent calendar item, please, or consent public hearing item?
Yes. A resolution declaring a protest hearing and authorizing the mailing of property owner ballot relating to the imposition of the annual stormwater utility fee for the Ranch Active Adult Project.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment for that?
The city clerk's office has not received any public comment for this item, and I do not see any hands that are raised in Zoom.
Then I will close the public hearing. Colleagues, questions? If not, we're ready for motion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Stacy, call the roll.
Councilmember Gatewood,
Yep.
Councilmember Pulapati,
Here, yes.
Councilmember Terry is absent, Vice Mayor Sander is absent, Mayor Budge.
Yes, thank you so much. We have a couple of items on the regular calendar. Do you want to announce that 12.3 is continued? Yeah, we're going to continue one of the items.
So I think, thank you, Mayor. I think is 12.3, we would like to have a broader representation of the city council here for this discussion and direction. And so we are requesting that item gets continued to the next meeting.
Palmer, should we do a motion to continue to a date certain?
Yes.
Okay, can we have a motion,
Yeah, can I
please?
have a question? Is there any issue with moving this to a certain date? So there's
No,
it's
it's
not
just-
time bound.
No, there's no timing. It's just that we need all 5 council members in order to make a decision like this.
There is a timing associated with wanting to get in the cycle. So there is some time consideration. So you can just give direction to, it doesn't require public hearing or anything, notice. So you could just give at staff's direction to bring it back as appropriate. It doesn't need to be a date certain.
Okay, so continue to a date uncertain.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we need.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Stacy, call the roll.
Councilmember Gatewood,
Yep.
Councilmember Pulapati,
Yes.
Councilmember Terry is absent, Vice Mayor Sander is absent, Mayor Budge.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay. Important topic for tonight. We get an update on our police department
Hey.
from Chief Brandon Luke and his staff. Welcome, Chief. Yes, we can see you now.
Me too.
That's called I Hate These Chairs.
Good morning, Mayor Budge, council members. I'm here to provide you with a overview of the operations of the Rancho Cordova Police Department. I'll go through the slides, and please interrupt me if you have any questions as we go through it. Our department sits at 90 officers. We have 78 sworn and 12 non-sworn. We also enjoy having up to 20 volunteers that help us in our mission. Per our contract with the Sheriff's Office, we get to hand select each of our personnel. With doing so, they go through an extensive hiring process, which has them meet with or interview with our executive team. We like to search for and look for individuals who are motivated and providing a high level of intentional service to the community. In doing so, we also are proud of the fact that all of our officers are well-trained, relevant to their assignments, which affect our profession, our mission. Some of this training is relevant to fentanyl training, school and mass shootings, but as of last year, we're proud of the fact that 75% of our personnel was able to go through what's called community policing in the 21st century. This community policing is a procedural justice-based training that focuses on strategic communication, de-escalation, and cultural competency. The next slide I will cover the topics that the presentation will cover. First, UCR, crime statistics and trends, technology-based policing, problem-oriented policing, our POP team, our Folsom Olson Zinfandel, our FOS officer, our homeless outreach team for our HOT team, our chronic offender rehabilitation effort, which is our core program previously known as CNO, our crime suppression unit, which is our CSU team, our crisis intervention team, our CIT, our investigations unit, our motor unit, our youth services, and our community engagement. This slide reflects our people's crime statistics for the first 6 months of 2023, from January to June 30th. For this time period, our persons crime shows us at 174 reported crimes. If we were to continue at this pace, our projected numbers would be considerably lower than the previous years of 2022 and 2021, with an understanding that COVID restrictions did have an effect on our 2020. People's crimes, when you think about them, are affected by behaviors relevant to substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and those many times contribute to the actions of the individuals that potentially could involve themselves in criminal activity. For our property crimes, we had 887 reported crimes. The end of the year projection is expected to mirror that of 2021, over 1,700. Our property crimes are often crimes of opportunity, but also can be driven by trends similar to that of, many of you remember, what's called the Kia Challenge. The Kia Challenge was something that was put out on many social media networks that challenged people and instructed them how to manipulate the ignition of vehicles for theft reasons. Our retail theft crisis has also played a role in these numbers because the threshold for constituting a crime has gone up from $450 to $400 to $950. However, we evaluate the quantitative data that's related to the criminal activity, and that is how we employ our resources to solve the problem or to decrease crime in certain areas. Next slide, please. As you see here, this is our citizen-initiated calls for service. The total calls for 2023, similar to the dates I just gave you before, are 17,630. If I could give you some numbers from previous years, in 2020, we had 16,730 calls for service. In 2021, we had 16,989 calls for service. In 2022, we had 16,901 calls for service. This shows an average of about a 4.4% increase. One thing that's interesting is you look at the calls for service that you have listed on the pie chart is incomplete phone calls, disturbances, burglar alarms, trespassing, welfare checks, suspicious subjects, information, traffic, hazards, suspicious vehicles, possibly just meet the citizen, or all other. You look at the larger numbers for 17% of incomplete phone calls and 25% of all others. Rancho Cordova Police Department is different from many other jurisdictions that we respond to any and all 911 calls or non-emergency call types. I'm very confident in our officers' abilities to respond to calls for service. Our supervisors are constantly monitoring the calls for service, but the circumstances surrounding them. It is our practice to follow up with all of our reporting parties and provide some form of information on the outcome of the call, barring anything that is sensitive to investigations or to a personal nature. When we talk about technology-based policing, we're speaking to the tools that support our mission of public safety. ShotSpotter is a gun detection alert and analysis services that allows our units to speak effectively, respond and investigate gunfire incidents. As you see here, some of the statistics show 138 calls for service for ShotSpotter. We've had ShotSpotter in Rancho Cordova for about a little over a year now. We've had up to 7 arrests made, casings that have been located 62, and guns seized at 5. The magic number there is casings found. And those casings that are located, those casings are entered into a system, IBIS system, that helps us investigate to see if those casings belong to firearms that were potentially used in other forms of criminal activity for future investigations. As we look at our RCPD unmanned aerial system, most people know those as drones. Unmanned aerial systems, our pilots for Rancho Cordova Police Department go through an extensive training to be licensed. We utilize our UAS systems for situations to search for at-risk missing persons. We're able to utilize them to fly into buildings, for barricaded subjects, for burglar alarms, and for search warrants. The key here is that they're a tool that enhances our situational awareness and give our team leaders and our supervisors the ability to make informed decisions. But more importantly, they prevent us from putting our officers in harm's way. It is also another option for us when our aero detail, our helicopter, is not available to us. When we look at our cameras increase our ability to view an area from a broader lens. We have 4 deployable camera trailers, which are highly visible within the city of Rancho Cordova. I'll speak to the bottom portion regarding our real-time crime center, our real-time information center towards the end of the presentation. One thing about our camera systems is it also provides us with a constant basis regarding, without exerting manpower in certain areas, but more constant and consistent. One thing that I have not listed here, but is part of our camera system, is our LPRs, which is our license plate readers, which are placed strategically throughout the city of Rancho. Our license plate readers provide us with the ability to use them for Amber Alerts and also for vehicles that could be potentially associated with crimes or specific individuals that we're looking for. They increase our ability to use them as investigative capabilities. When we talk about our problem-oriented policing team, our unit, we like to consider our POP team as a personal extension of the culture at our Rancho Cordova Police Department. It helps us partner with the community to get the root complex issues affecting the public safety and the quality of issues. We have 6 POP officers on our team and 1 supervisor. 2 of those POP officers, they have responsibilities that are more specific to our HOT team, which is our homeless outreach team. Next slide. I'd like to speak to this next one. This slide here highlights a case study which I believe follows the philosophy of our growing strong neighborhoods. As you see here, the Cobblestone Apartments, which is located at 3060 Laurelhurst, provide a high volume of calls for us for the police department. We had situations or problems stemming from people hanging out at all wee hours of the night. Management did not seem to have a clear understanding as to all the residents or tenants who had access to other units. There were abandoned vehicles. There was broken fencing throughout the complex that provided access to and from the complex. This was becoming an extreme blight to the community and to the neighborhood. This was 10 months prior, if I could point you in the direction of the right corner, 10 months prior to our intervention, there were 179 citizen-initiated calls. Although you may see 23% reduction after the 10 months, that may not seem like a lot, but it is a significant amount when you look at the number of calls for service. This was a collaboration of a number of teams that I'd like to point out. Our POP officers, our patrol officers, rental housing unit, our code enforcement, our community prosecutor, our parking enforcement, probation. All of these groups and all of these teams collaborated together, working with the management team for the complex, but more importantly, the owner, who came and met with our teams to identify suggestions and subset ideas on how they can improve the complex. As you can see from the chart below there on the right, we did see a significant decrease in certain areas. Suspicious subjects dropped by 50%. Our welfare checks by 50%. One thing that went up was from our cleanup. Our requests for tows went from 3 to 14. Some of the evictions that we assisted with the apartment complex, some of those tenants that were evicted were some of our problematic individuals that were increasing some of the calls for service. Next slide. Our Folsom Olson Zinfandel program is our FOS officer. We have one dedicated officer that aims at tackling the theft and trespassing challenges in the area. This is a new program, but we operate off of what's called a letter of agency. That letter of agency, if I could give you an example, allows us to go into a shopping center where we don't have to go to each business to receive that level of participation or permission to have this person trespass from the premise. It can be something that it affects the whole shopping center. The number of businesses that are participating in this program are 55. This is a new program that I'll remind you. The number of trespass notices that have been written are 212, and the citations written are 61. But an important number to follow is that there has been a 51% decrease in thefts in the FOS area. When we talk about the homeless outreach team, I think we can understand and we recognize that the homeless crisis has affected the state, the region, and more importantly, the city of Rancho Cordova. However, our consistent proactive approach to the homeless crisis in our own city has been evident through minimizing the level of tents, motorhomes, and the level of activity and lifestyle that goes along with the homeless population. Our homeless or our hot teams and patrol officers have been consistent to continue working with our homeless navigators to extend and identify wraparound services to meet the needs of the homeless population we encounter within the city. Some of those stats, I'll point in this direction. Trespass notices, 103. Our citations that we have issued, 67. Our felony arrests, 6. Misdemeanor arrest, 11. Although those numbers may not seem like a lot to you, the number that I think is more consistent is the 445, which has been basically from the constant and consistent interaction that we've had with our hot teams and the navigators. With our team effort of Bio One, we have cleaned up and removed up to 131,600 pounds of trash. To put that in context, that is about 271 full-size pickup trucks. The next program I'd like to highlight is our CORE program. It's our Chronic Offender Rehabilitation Effort Program. This program is geared towards individuals who are repeat offenders in a specific area, community. These subjects have often had substance abuse and mental health issues that contribute to the types of crimes they are committing. A subject is eligible for the CORE program when they have 10 or more arrests, citations within a 12-month period. Once they get to the 10th arrest or cite, they can be held on $10,000 bail pursuant to the bail schedule. This program was previously known as CNO. This program is through the DA's office. However, not many other areas within the county are effectively using it as RCPD. I attribute this success to our POP team, our HOT team, our patrol teams, our community prosecutor, and to our crime analysts who on a weekly basis provides an update on offender status and the areas in which their activity is existing. This program provides us with a level of enforcement that holds individuals accountable for their behavior, which is a nuisance to the community. Our proactive street team, which is our crime suppression unit. Our crime suppression unit is the only one of its kind in the county. It is funded by our Community Enhancement Investment Fund. We have 4 officers assigned to this with 1 supervisor. They are a proactive team that focuses on narcotic sales, local gang activity, along with criminal activity as being the nexus, but being proactive as far as looking for things to assist with prosecution. They're also our lead responder for ShotSpotter. They investigate our ShotSpotter activations. They conduct routine search warrants, surveillance, and information for wanted suspects. One thing to point out is they do our risk assessment for our security and special events, and some of those events are similar to our 4th of July event and also our Christmas tree lighting. Another thing to point out is they do track subjects in the area for criminal activity, but they also enhance the feeling of safety throughout the security of the city. Some of the numbers to look at are consistent. As you see, felony arrest is projected to reach pretty similar to the same average. Our misdemeanor arrests have changed as a result of some of the crimes being recategorized from felonies to misdemeanors. As you look at the weapons seized, it may look like the number is alarming, especially for 2022, with an understanding that any one significant incident could cause us to have a high number of weapons seized. Our next team would be our Crisis Intervention Team, our CIT. This position was previously designated to the enforcement of illegal marijuana grows. And this position was reclassified to fit the needs of the city, along with the needs of the police department. There was a rapid decline in marijuana grows, but I'll have you know that we didn't stop doing this level of enforcement. We just designated that to be a shared responsibility with our POP teams and the code enforcement. Our CIT unit has the ability to connect with individuals and provide services where they can provide follow-up for mental health and mental health emergencies and people that are experiencing mental health crisis. And we definitely recognize the need to grow this program, and we hope to be able to leverage positions to accomplish that goal. I would like to point you in the direction of the CIT has responded to 133 mental health calls for service in a 6-month period. More importantly, CIT's response has freed up to 274 patrol units, so those patrol units can respond to other calls for service in the city. When we talk about our investigations units, our mission is to be thorough and impartial to investigate crimes against persons, property, and the public peace in the city of Rancho Cordova. Our investigations unit is made up of 4 detectives and 1 sergeant. It is our shared partnership with the Sacramento Sheriff's Office that affords us the access to so many other resources and investigative teams. Although our team does investigate petty thefts, grand thefts, robberies, domestic violence, assaults, elder abuse, misdemeanor sexual assaults. By our partnership, we have the ability to get assistance from teams that this is their expertise because of the repetitions, similar to our homicide investigative unit, our gang suppression unit, our internet crimes against children, our high-tech crimes for identity theft, and our special enforcement detail, which is known as our SWAT team. Other tools that are necessary to consider in regards to the partnership with the Sheriff's Office are our Aero detail, which utilizes our helicopter, our K9 units, and our dispatch, which is our communications unit. Our public informations, PIO, Public Informations Officer, works very handily with and collaborates with the city's communications team as well. I'll next speak on our motor unit and our traffic citations. Our motor unit consists of 8 motors and 1 supervisor, along with a traffic analyst and a tow coordinator. Some of the areas that are a priority based off of sheer volume are Coloma Road, which is Coloma Road, Folsom Boulevard, and Sunrise. And you can see that based off of the number of citations and the violations, which is unsafe speed. Unsafe speed being the moving violation. A majority of a lot of the other ones are not moving violations. But I will point you I would like you to consider as we talk about unsafe speed when we go into the next slide. As we talk about collisions, we're diligent as far as the police department and our motor team in the 3 E's approach to enforcement to lower the amount of collisions in the city. Those 3 E's being education, engineering, and enforcement. As you look in the middle of the slide here, we talk about our top intersections for collisions, Sunrise, and then the intersections being Sunrise and Folsom, Sunrise and Coloma, Folsom Boulevard and Mills Park, Folsom Boulevard and Mather Field, along with Zinfandel, Gold Center, and Zinfandel and Olson. As you compare our stats to some of our neighboring cities, you have Citrus Heights. As we look at 2023, they're at 365, Folsom being at 693, Elk Grove being at 497, and Rancho being at 417. You look at the primary collision factors, and this goes back to what our #1 sites are in those high volume areas, and speed being one of the primary collision factors. I will point out to you that recently we had all of our motor units get trained in what's called our Leica RTC 360, which is a data scene processing unit. This processor allows us to scan a scene in less than 15 minutes, when previous methods took us hours to do so. This is something that, for safety-wise, is excellent as an option because it gets our officers out of the roadway, and they can also collect this data from off the roadway. But even also, as equally as important, it allows us to open up the roadway to for traffic to move through thereafter. When we talk about our youth services unit, it's made up of two school resource officers, 2 youth service officers, and a records officer. Youth services is afforded an opportunity to connect with kids through various programs. These kids would potentially never get to participate in some of these programs, some of them being going camping and fishing, our STEM program, which is our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Our physical fitness programs that we have that are geared towards improving self-confidence and accomplishing goals, along with our youth leadership, which helps shape and mold future leaders. As you look at the PAL programs offered, our Junior Giants program this year registered over 260 youth for a free baseball league this summer. Some of our programs at the youth center serve up to 70 youth each day through the week. Activities such as PAL, Get Fit, our martial arts programs, and our Youth Leadership Council. One thing to remember is youth services has the ability to personalize the badge, to form connections with our youth as being the next generation. The police department, we have the opportunity to partner with residents to empower them with the tools needed to assist us in keeping the city a safe place to live, work, and play. Some of the programs offered are our Neighborhood Watch, our Hotel Watch, Business Watch, previously mentioned by the mayor, our Citizens Academy, our National Night Out, and safety presentation tours. We have done our due diligence with all of these programs and made it a mission to use the education component on each of these interactions, opportunities where we feel the need to educate the community about the resources that we have for the police department. We understand and recognize that public safety does not fall upon the shoulders of the men and women of the Rancho Cordova Police Department. It is a shared responsibility, and our active participation and community engagement allows us to create relationships, partnerships, and is an opportunity to demonstrate and model our vested interest in our community. I really would like to stress the importance of this slide because I feel it's incumbent upon everyone, whatever their part may be, whatever their role is in the community, to learn a little bit more about these programs. And I would encourage you to learn more, but more important, to sign up. You can sign up via our website, or you can come to the PD. This last slide reflects future strategies. Some of the strategies that we're looking to employ in the next year or in upcoming months are our Real-Time Information Center, our Real-Time Crime Center, which we're eager and excited for the fact that all of our neighboring law enforcement partners are looking to participate and to input information in. Another one that we are exploring is what's called our Identifying a Modern Customer Service Program or application that will increase our ability to leverage our own data and disseminate information to our citizens via text and other forms of technology. That concludes the presentation. I'll take any questions you may have.
Super. Thank you, Chief. Very exciting, and yes, I took special note of the fact that the other night when the Citizens Academy graduated, you told them, you know, now you know what we do, and we need you to be our eyes and ears on the street and help us do what we do better. So I totally appreciate that. Questions, Garrett?
So I appreciate everything you do. It's amazing how you've been able to take our numbers down, even as it seems to be getting worse out there in every city except for Rancho. Couple things. I've seen I'm really into the new technologies that are getting enforced and government decision, database decision governance is big. And so especially with policing, I want to do whatever we can for you to either A, go get us new technology that's going to help out, or B, start to streamline that. Besides the center that you talked about, I always wanted to have that to where the camera is matched, so you'd be able to pull it up that can match the drone that can do that. So I'm glad to hear we're doing that. And now that we have more technology, what's going to be the next steps on the technology side to get more integrated policing for our officers? And then lastly would be the homeless outreach, which I know a lot of people are getting ready to see more of as we change stuff up and hopefully not lean on you guys as much to deal with that problem. About it.
Siri.
Thank you, Chief, for the update. Really appreciate it. So where you showed the property crimes and the crime in general going up from the year 2021 to 2022, but it's projected to go down 2023. What are the policies that do you anticipate are going to meet this?
I'm sorry, what are the what?
Because you have a reduced projection, so the crime has gone up 2021 to 2022, but you're showing a reduction to 2023. So have there been any actions, any steps that are taken in order for that reduced crime? Maybe the technology-based policing is going to affect that. Is there something that you're thinking that's going to impact to reduce that crime rate?
I would say that some of the contributing factors are, I have to give that back to the citizens as well. For learning different, it goes to camera systems. It also goes to how we employ our resources as we use crime analysis with one of our crime analysts as he looks and identifies certain things, certain criminal activity occurring in one area, and we're able to employ different resources, whether that be additional patrols in that area or whether that be our CSU team being proactive in that area. But all those things contribute to the decrease in crime.
Thank you. Rancho Cordova has a perception, and I say a perception, of a high crime rate. Do we have the stats of how Rancho Cordova does compared to our neighboring cities, like you had for the collision?
What we can do is identify specific crimes, yes, to attach what we have versus our neighboring cities and neighboring jurisdictions.
That would be good to see how we fare compared to our neighboring cities.
And that would be something that we could potentially provide in I've spoken with the city manager in our biannual report.
Regarding property crimes, just in general, do we have any data that shows, is there a particular time of the year that there's more crimes taking place?
I would always say it's consistent that you see a higher level of crime as we go into the holiday season. Similar to what I said before, when you talk about property crimes, it's a crime of opportunity.
On Sunrise Boulevard, there have been a lot of speeding. Do we have any data if any of these are Rancho Cordova residents, or are they just residents that are just passing through? Because it's...
That's interesting data. We can pull that data, but to say, we used to look at that, it still is, that Rancho is a corridor to other areas, but now it's also a destination spot with the additional housing that we have going on in Rancho. But I couldn't provide you with numbers currently right now if most of the offenders were residents. I don't know that I'd want to do that either.
And the last one I will bring up, this is not in your jurisdiction and not in your domain, but I'll still bring it up. We have a lot of mail theft that's been happening in this area. Can you comment on any of that?
We are working on that, and I will share with you that it has been equally as frustrating for us to get information. And it's, I don't want to say it's funny that you asked me this question, but we just talked about this prior to coming over to council. But we are actively working with the United States Postal Service inspector on trying to get information for residents, because we recognize that this is a difficult task for them to deal with, because their information is being stolen and they have no one to contact in regards to the community mailbox either being repaired or finding another option as to what they may have afforded to them in the different communities. But we are definitely working on that now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Siri. You know, we have fought that if the U.S. Postal Service wanted to invent an easy way for people to steal mail, they could not have come up with a better system than our group mailboxes. I mean, that's just, it goes without saying. It might be something, though, that could be added to the SEPTED program if it's not already. I just noticed, I mean, at Stone Creek specifically, it seems so often that mailboxes were located in places that did not have direct lighting or were under trees that grew up and got shrubby. And so if one of the planning tools would be that they always have a street light above them and are always in an area that can be kept open and visible, that might be a really good thing to put into SEPTED goals.
We'd be open to at least having our crime prevention coordinator speak with planning, especially as far as some of the SEPTED ideas, and mention that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
I appreciate that. So do we have public comment for the chief?
We do not have any public comment by speaker cards, emails, or Zoom or telephone.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And thank you all of you who came. This is really terrific, and we appreciate hearing from you.
Chief, I had one other announcement or introduction for. I'm sorry, Mayor, I had one more introduction. I wanted to thank the council, thank the city manager, and thank our leadership team here at the city, along with city staff. But more importantly, I want to thank the citizens for allowing me to serve as the chief for Rancho Cordova. As you know, I've elected to retire. At the same time, it has been an honor and a pleasure to serve by the men and women of the Rancho Cordova Police Department who day in and day out provide intentional service to this community. With that being said, I would like to introduce Captain Matt Tamayo, who was my previous assistant chief,
Right.
But has been selected to be the new chief of police for Rancho
Wonderful.
Cordova. That, Matt.
Welcome back, Matt.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city manager, city staff, and community members. I'm really excited to be coming back. This is truly an honor. As Chief Luke said, I served as his assistant police chief. That was my third assignment in Rancho. This will be my fourth one coming back, and to assuage any concerns, I always left on a good note. It was for promotional purposes, so I keep
But
wanting.
we've learned that you're not leaving again
Yeah.
because of promotion, right? Because if you leave us for another city, that causes us to go to war.
No, yeah.
So we're not doing that. That doesn't happen again. You're stuck. This is a life position, like him. You have to retire from the police when you're done.
Understood. So, but why do I keep coming back? And Chief Luke already mentioned it, but I'll echo his sentiments because it is important. It's because of the culture created by City Council, the community, city staff, the business owners here, and most importantly, the community members. I really do enjoy public service. It has been, I've had a very great career. I've had a lot of experiences and a lot of great jobs, but what's most near and dear to my heart in my police career was patrol and serving the community in that respect. And to come back and finish my career here is such an honor. And I talked to Micah several weeks ago, and I was speechless, and I still am. I never foresaw this in my career. I would end up in this position, but I'm forever grateful, and I'm looking forward to this opportunity and working with everybody. So thank you for the confidence, and thank you for your time.
Wonderful.
Welcome, Matt.
Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, moving into our last regular calendar item. Stacy.
Yes, it is the discussion on the naming of an official city flower.
Bless your heart for going to the trouble to write a really nice staff report.
And it's interesting to go right after police, but I am happy to be here tonight. So good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Stacy Delaney, and we are here tonight to talk about the opportunity to name an official city flower. So in August of this year, Council had requested that this item come back for a further discussion. And based upon the direction you give tonight, we'll either determine that we are moving forward with the naming of an official city flower or if it will be put on hold for some reason. And tonight we're going to talk about the history of adopting symbols such as flowers, what some of the benefits are, the potential process that we can use, the timeline, as well as the resources that would be needed.
Linda, can you think of any reason not to have a city flower?
No, I can't.
Do we have to do
I
a
mean-
report on telling them why they should?
Well,
We could just tell them we like the idea of a city flower. I think we should name one. There's
Okay.
2 votes. Siri,
Did
you want a
you-
city flower?
Did you?
Yes, I read the whole thing.
Well, good.
I
Okay.
I
Stacy,
actually
your work
looked
did
at her
not go-
presentation.
Your work did not go to waste.
No-brainer, but
Look,
I
if-
would really like Stacy to
Do her very long
present, 'cause she's-
presentation. when
'cause
we
she's
could just tell
invested
her
the time.
we like the idea of a city flower. It's so easy. Watch this.
I won't sell it really hard then. I'll just make it brief.
You just
Well, I
heard 3
mean-
yeses, so I mean, like,
If-
what are we doing?
California just adopted a state bat. Surely we could
We
have
need a
a city
flower.
flower.
There's so many cool ones. Like, are we gonna go with like the grapevine flower because we got
Well,
our roots, or you
Talk
know?
about process, Stacy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Zoom
going to
it
just skip
fast.
forward.
yeah, about 5 of them. Keep going. You're on number 2. Good Lord.
No, she had asked for the potential process, so I'm hearing that you're interested in moving forward with the process of naming a flower. One way we could go about this is staff could recommend anywhere from 1 to 3 or more flowers, and these flowers could be based upon plants that are known to grow in this region. We wouldn't want an endangered species, we don't want an invasive species, et cetera. We could also do something that's native to California, and there's about 11 different plant varieties that are native, so there's plenty of options to choose from. We could also receive input from the community, whether that's residents, students, business community, et cetera. There's different ways we could also engage, and there's a lot of opportunities in the near future. So we could develop a QR code and get the voting out there. We can go to community events such as a tree planting that's planned in early November. There's the Christmas tree lighting, there's the state of the city, there's luncheons, et cetera. So we have lots of opportunity to gather input and then bring that information back probably in the January timeframe
Yeah,
with
that'd
a
be fun.
recommendation.
When it was proposed to me, the idea was to collect suggestions from the community. Everybody thought that, or the two or three people who had suggested this sort of said, let's have a vote, let's take a poll, let's get everybody involved.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Maybe
Yeah.
go to the schools, have the kids have a vote on this, and maybe have
Yeah,
that.
because it did come from school.
Yeah,
It
they-
Yeah,
came
that'd be
from
fun.
Cordova Meadows.
Yeah, and then we could go and get the like we could have like a little thing that shows all the native flowers that were for native for Rancho Cordova,
Sure.
and just start there and then kind of work your way out.
And we'd tell Sawborn that they have to grow a bunch of them.
Yes,
Right?
Oh, man,
That'd be awesome.
That'd
Let's
be
send a
great.
bouquet.
And then we have to pick them.
And then
that
we'll have
day
a
we let them
bouquet.
go. With the butterflies. Excited about
yes,
this.
please do involve the schools in this discussion.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Definitely will involve the youth so that we
Yeah.
can get their input as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Do we have a
This
Rancho
just kind of
Cordova tree?
outlines the timeline. We don't have a tree, sorry.
Really, Linda?
No palm
That'll
tree,
be
no
next.
palm tree.
Okay, just
No palm trees, that'll be next.
sorry. Go ahead.
So we could start this really quickly. We could do this starting potentially with the state of the city as a way to introduce it, and then we could just go from there, closing out the voting in either December or January, and then coming back to council in early '24 with a recommendation.
No, I don't see any need why you need to do it really quickly. If you're
Part of
actually
it has
reaching
to
out to
do
go to the
with-
schools and you need to get their
Yeah.
input and feedback.
It
It's
could be a
actually
little bit
holiday
longer.
season, right?
Yeah. It could be longer if needed. We would just probably want to align it, so if you were going to do some type of spring planting, you would have the information back by then.
Sure.
You know what? You could do it. You could announce it at this date of the city. I mean, open it up and then announce the state flower the next date of the city or some. Yeah,
But that would be a whole year.
I know, but I mean, it's a some trademark event where we announce the next thing.
You know, there are also
And then do the tree the year after.
It's called a spiky in Florence spikes.
Anyway.
That's a palm tree flower. Just
Okay, well then, but it makes more sense to have one that makes fruit, like dates. Actually, I guess you have to have a flower in order to get fruit.
we don't want a flower of any other same city though.
No, see, that's
roll
the
those
problem,
out.
because
Those all gotta get
because
kicked.
when it was first proposed to me, I mean, my first thought, well, okay, you know what grows around here? We've got camellias and azaleas and gardenias and poppies and things like that. And then all of those are all taken.
Right.
So we really need some creative suggestions on what would be a good thing.
Who's got the red rose?
Roseville.
Ew. What? They told us Roseville? Dang it. All right.
It's called Roseville for
I
a
had
reason.
no idea. I just brainiacked that together. I'm like, what? Fire. Very excited. Keep going.
Oh, my word.
We just need to acknowledge that there will be some staff time spent on this leading up to the voting, through the voting process, and then whatever the end result is, whether that's a beautification effort, just education and planting,
You've got to have some
art,
artwork.
et cetera.
We've got to have some artwork go out with our new rose on it.
Yeah, but I will tell you, one of my first goals was to do civic flowers like they do in France or in Washington, D.C. And Ted never went anywhere with it. So, Micah,
Civic flowers.
write that down. Civic
20 years,
flowers.
we got it, you know.
It took 20 years to get someone that would put your flowers out. We're going to flower this thing up. This is exciting. Let's see. Purple.
Okay. Stacy, we're completely open to suggestions. Do you want to vote? Do you want a formal vote?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
But thank you for your time, and we'll move forward with coming up with the official city flower with input, of course, by the residents.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. We're moving to council requests for future agenda items. And I do have one. Everyone is aware that our colleague David Sander is about to be inaugurated as president or chair, whatever they call it, of the National League of Cities. And normally we would not vote on the mayor and vice mayor for next year until December. But we're all going to Atlanta in the middle of November. So if we simply bump up the election to our next meeting on the 6th of November, then he would go as mayor-elect. And that would be most diplomatic for him to carry with him to the National League of Cities. So, yeah, it looks really good. So if you all don't mind, we'd ask Micah to put that on the agenda for the 6th of November.
Approved.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Thank you. We'll do that.
Super. Thank you.
I have a topic that
Yes, please.
I wanted to bring up the discussion of sister cities.
I know a lot of people not in the room tonight who would love to hear that.
So if we could bring it as an agenda topic or a discussion
Approved.
topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we actually have had this discussion before, a request, and we are actually working on a sister cities effort right now with some of our community partners. So we'll be happy to bring that kind of conversation back and an update on what's happening with that. And in here, maybe a broader sense of just sister cities in general, along with that. But I think we do have a particular effort we're working on too for that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? All right, then we're going to adjourn to closed session. Stacy, do you want to read the topic of the closed session?
Yes, the closed session topic is conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2, 2 cases. And I would also like to acknowledge that at this moment, we do not have any public comment.
Recording
for
in
items
progress.
on the, for the closed session.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we will adjourn to closed session. Not sure when we'll be back, but we will be back.
Recording stopped.